the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus. Thank you very much, Reince, for being with us. Pleasure to have you on this big day.
Good morning, Chris.
You're taking heat about the format. You're taking heat about how the selection process was done. Justify the decisions that were made to have the 10 at prime time, the guys before.
Well, you're right. I'm taking heat from maybe a couple people, but for the most part, people have been pretty thrilled with what we've done. And look, you know, Chris, we've got 17 people on the stage, and CNN's working on it as well. You know, you have to figure out a way to give everyone an opportunity, which we did, and still put on a production that people can watch and feel like they're getting the interaction that they need. So, look, one thing that people don't understand, Chris, is that we're not a staging organization, meaning the Republican National Committee. And so we did a lot of things. Number one, we're not going to have 23 debates. People didn't think we could do that. We're only going to have 8 or 9 or maybe a few more than that. We wanted to have some say over who the moderators were. People didn't think we could do that. We did that. We wanted to make sure that our candidates had a schedule of debates, and obviously we did that too. So, you know, the one piece that we can't do is become a staging organization under the Federal Election Commission. And if people want me to, you know, violate FEC laws and start dictating to networks what they can or cannot do with their airtime, you know, I'm just not willing to do that. So it's actually gone very well. And you know, people are just thrilled with how it looks in there. It's going to be an exciting night. And CNN's debate's going to be great, too, in a month out at the Reagan Library.
Yeah, everybody says the next debate is really the debate to watch, by the way. I'm sure. I know you've been telling everybody that,
yeah,
too, Reince.
Sure.
Thanks. And thanks for throwing my name in there for who should moderate. Appreciate it. You've been very good to us here. Now, one thing you do control, Reince, is what your party is going to be about in terms of what it's going to speak with its platform. All right? And I want you to tell us about these 2 proposals that were just rejected. One had to do with what should be taught in classrooms where homosexuality is addressed. Tell me about that one and why you rejected these proposals and what it says about your party.
Well, you know what, Chris? I mean, we have a gazillion resolutions that get proposed, and only a few actually get through our resolutions committee. I wasn't even in the meeting. I'm not on the resolutions committee, so you know, only a few make it out, and I think the 2 you're talking about probably weren't ready yet to be introduced to the floor. So, you know, to get a resolution through the RNC, I mean, imagine there are 3 people from every state and 6 territories, and you've got to survive multiple layers of scrutiny before something gets through. So it just didn't get through, and I'm not part of that committee, and I wasn't at the meeting.
All right, so you're saying it could be as much procedural as it is substantive, so we'll see what else comes out in the platform. Now, with Donald Trump, the man, I know that you've had your dealings with him and you've tried to figure out what he means for the party and not to have friction because you don't want the distraction. But what did you get wrong about what people in your party wanted that led to the rise of Donald Trump?
Well, I think there's a little mistaken premise there. You know, it sort of kind of connotes negativeness, and I don't think so. I mean, I think that, look at tonight. We're probably going to have 12 or 15 million people in this country tune into a Republican-only debate in August. And I think that in some ways it can be very helpful to our party. And so, you know, I've had great conversations with Donald Trump. We actually talk pretty regularly, as I do with almost all the candidates. So he's not, you know, I just don't see his mindset where people think it is. I think he wants to be the Republican nominee. And he knows that if Hillary Clinton's going to get beat or Joe Biden's going to get beat, they're going to get beat by a Republican. And so I think that's where he's at.
Well, right. But again, I'm not trying to put it on him, although, as you know, he likes to call as many members of the field as possible complete losers. But the people who are part of his base of support are saying that's why they like him, because they do think the other people are losers. They do think the party has let them down. They do think the government has let them down. And he is the voice of their truth. How do you get those people to support the party and not just supporting the rejection of the party as personified by Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, that's up to us, you know, to make sure that we put our best foot forward. I mean, containment's a key word here too, Chris. I mean, when you have 17 candidates, you want to be able to have that balance between allowing some jabs back and forth and some elbows, but not total destruction. So, I mean, containment is the word that's in my head all the time. Reagan's 11th commandment. But, you know, look, I think that Donald Trump has tapped into something where people are tired of the veneer and the plasticized politics that we get. So people gravitate to that. But obviously, if he continues to do well, you know, we'll see where it goes. And otherwise, those people tuning in today are going to see both Donald Trump and 9 other candidates on the stage. And I think it's up to us as a party to always put our best foot forward.
Well, Reince, this kicks it all off tonight. Good luck to you. We hope we have a fruitful discussion
You bet.
That leads us in the right direction. And thanks for coming on New Day. Look forward to having you back.
All right, you bet.